Collective life is superior to individual life. Xiefeng. The collective life discussed here refers to a mode of existence in which many people live together according to communist principles. The individual life mentioned here is defined as a mode of existence in which each person lives independently according to capitalist principles. Family life is capitalist in nature, although it takes the form of communism. Individual life befits the selfish person, while collective life is ideal for unselfish people. If you are barbarous, ignorant, selfish, narrow-minded, insidious, jealous, resentful, and have bad habits, then you had better live an individual life. On the other hand, if you are civilized, well-educated, public-minded and unselfish, open-minded, kind, loving, and merciful, and are free of mental or physiological defections, then collective life suits you the best. The collective life is superior to individual life mainly in the following 8 aspects. Collective life is more colorful than individual life. People leading a collective life are less likely to suffer depression and other mental illnesses. Collective life is safer than individual life and has less anxiety and fear. Collective life is not monotonous and tedious. Individual life often leads to depression and isolation. Collective life allows people to have more leisure time for entertainment and cultivation because of the division of labor and cooperation. Collective life offers more opportunity of communication, and thus people have fewer restrictions and checks against each other and enjoy greater freedom. Collective life operates on the principle of sharing weal and woe between members, and thus people have less pressure of life and can achieve happiness more easily. Collective life is the necessary road that leads life to higher level of life spaces. Individual life may induce selfishness and thus makes it difficult for people to ascend to the heavenly kingdom. Jesus Christ warns us that it is more difficult for wealthy people to go to the paradise than for the camel to pass through the hole of the needle. Why? Because wealthy people are not willing to lead a collective life. Wealthy people would not have others share their happiness. It is absolutely impossible for a person to go to the heavenly kingdom if he or she is not willing to share his wealth with others, because life in there is not individual life but collective life. There are neither rich people nor poor people in the heavenly kingdom. Only those who love collective life and blend themselves in the collective life can have the hope to enter the paradise. The more perfect non-material structure of life a person has, the greater love and passion this person will have for collective life. The more flawed non-material structure of life a person has, the greater love and passion this person will have for individual life, and the more difficult it is for him to blend into collective life. It is based upon profound and sound consideration that Life Genuine puts forward the proposal that Chanyuan Celestials lead a collective life. Cultivation is conducted completely in accordance with the need of heavenly kingdom and the teachings of Jesus Christ and Buddha Sakyamuni. Life Genuine is leading people to live in heavenly kingdom in an all-round manner. It is necessary not only to be sensible, increase wisdom, enhance the taste of life, we must also continuously promote the consciousness of paradise in our daily life, and develop and form the good habit to familiarize ourselves with and adapt to the life in heavenly kingdom. Whether Xiefeng has spoken the truth, you can tell it from your own heart. You can read about the thoughts of all saints and sages in history. You can check it against and contrast it with the teachings of Jesus Christ, of Buddha Sakyamuni, and of celestial being Lao Tzu. You can use your spiritual perception. If you have done these seriously, you will understand why Life Genuine asks that everyone long for collective life and live a collective life. Not everyone is qualified or meets the condition to lead the collective life. A person that has not been influenced by the values of Life Genuine will find it difficult to live in collective life and will soon be eliminated. A selfish, arrogant, irrational, narrow-minded, faulty, mentally and psychologically handicapped, dishonest, and ill-bred person will find it very difficult to stay in the second home, now new oasis for life, of Life Genuine for a long time, because his or her selfish and arrogant structure of consciousness does not match the collective structure of sharing weal and woe and he cannot put up with the bondage of the collective atmosphere. Whether you can live harmoniously in a collective life is the best touchstone to check which level, realm, and state a person has achieved in self-refinement and cultivation. This is not decided by how glib a tongue you have or how good a form you can put up. What matters is your inner mind. If you love collective life from the bottom of your heart and can smoothly blend into collective life, then you have achieved a lot in cultivation. Otherwise, you have not got anywhere in cultivation. You might have been led astray. Just feel for yourself and gain the understanding that collective life is superior to individual life.
集体生活是最好的修道场。
Collective life is the best way to cultivate Tao. Xiefeng. The extent of a person's self-refinery and self-improvement can be best examined by the collective life. What most ascetics in the world cultivate is only pet phrase and method of argument, just like an armchair strategist who divorces from reality and acts blindly. One cannot prove sufficiently that he or she has really promoted his or her spiritual nature, or that he or she has a more perfect structure of life, simply by judging how long one has engaged in self-cultivation, how many books on self-improvement one has read, how many books on self-refinery and self-improvement one has written, how beautiful the article is, how convincingly one has been talking, how long one has stayed in churches or temples, and how many activities one has taken part in, or how many beautiful words one has said on network forums for self-cultivation. Many people have deep theoretical knowledge and can talk eloquently, but when it comes to practical problems, they often handle them in an approach that runs counter to what they have preached. They talk eloquently to others only to fish for fame and compliments, and will not let themselves be guided by what they have talked. To know what level of cultivation and refinery one has attained, he or she must undergo the process of verification in real life. And participating in collective life offers the simplest, most direct, and most effective way of verification. Suppose 100 people are living together a communist life. The soul of each person will be reflected incisively and vividly. The moral character of a person can be seen clearly in the collective life. Generally speaking, in a small family, people will maintain a clean and tidy family environment. But once living in a collective, these same people who maintain a clean and tidy family environment will change. The dirty public toilet is just one example. At home, people are most frugal in the use of water, electricity, toilet paper, and the like. However, once in a collective, they will not be so frugal. On the contrary, they may be very lavish. The core of self-refinery and self-cultivation is nature, love, and Tao. Now people know that love is one core component of self-refinery and self-cultivation. It is extremely easy to talk about love in network, in speeches, and in articles, but can love be shown when a practical problem arises? In such a situation, will one love others in the same manner that he loves himself? It is one matter for one person to live all by oneself, but quite a different one for two people to live together. Living in a small family is different from living in a big family. A person with a beautiful heart and soul can live naturally and peacefully either by oneself or in a collective, while a person with a flawed heart and soul may live normally all by oneself, but will have trouble when living with another person, and is totally incompatible with a collective life, where he or she may become the source of disputes. The lack of collective life in this world has made it difficult for people to quickly optimize their souls. Without the tempering and test of collective life, it will be difficult for a person to perfect his or her soul. Without the examination of collective life, no one can be clear whether his or her soul is relatively perfect. Collective life is the best venue for the cultivation of Tao. Without collective life, all one's cultivation and self-refinery may prove only to be futile pet phrases, no matter how long he or she has been engaged in self-cultivation, including the practice of various skills, no matter how proficient he or she is in theory, or no matter how many profound mysteries he or she has grasped, because he or she does not know where the cultivation is leading. The selfish person has absolutely no luck to enter the paradise. Whether one is selfish or not will become clear once the person enters the collective life. Collective life may easily reveal what level one has reached in self-refinery and self-improvement. In addition, a solitary figure may vary in moral character. To retain Tao, one must temper oneself in collective life.
你离天堂有多远？
How far you are from heaven. Xiefeng. October 7th, 2013. Translated by Tong Xin and edited by Care. Do you believe that there is a place in the universe where everyone loves each other and treats each other kindly, and where people never quarrel or fight, where there is no marriage, family, currency, or personal property, and where people never worry about food, clothes, shelter, transportation, living, aging, sickness, or death? It is a place where the environment is beautiful and serene like Xanadu, and where people often play games and have endless fun together. A place where love is free and everyone does their work freely, nobody manages or monitors them. No one would pocket anything found on the ground, and doors are not bolted at night, where people and nature coexist harmoniously and never harm each other. Do you still not believe in the existence of heaven? If you believe what I am saying here, then come to see how near you have come to heaven now. If you do not believe that you are made by the greatest creator, but rather by your parents, then you are endlessly far from heaven. If you never save wealth in heaven, then you are 108,000 kilometers away from heaven. 108,000 kilometers is a Chinese proverb to describe a tremendous distance between two places. That if you did not pay off your debts from all previous lives, then you are still very far from heaven. If you think marriage, family, and relatives are the biggest wealth in your life, then you are quite far from heaven. If you think the biggest pride and honor in life is to own money, power, and fame, then you are still very far from heaven. If there are still poisonous weeds like jealousy, complaining, anger, possession, control, hypocrisy, selfishness, greed, pride, laziness, comparison, precaution, meanness, cruelty, extravagance, waste, or resentment growing in your soul garden, then you are very far from heaven. If you never know what confession and apology are, then you are very far from heaven. If you never know about gratitude, then you are very far from heaven. If you still covet your personal property, then you are very far from heaven. If your love is only focused on a small group of people, then you are very far from heaven. If you want to control or hamper anyone's freedom, then you are very far from heaven. If you often tell your sad stories or complain a lot to others, then you are very far from heaven. If you have not returned to a childlike state, then you are very far from heaven. If the above situations do not exist, then you are just one step away from heaven. Why can you not see the scenery of heaven? Because you are too far from it. If you try to get close to heaven, step by step, the scenery will become clearer. Eventually you will see heaven. Just have a try if you do not believe me.
心灵的同频共振者就是亲人。
Souls sharing the same vibration are family. Xiefeng. December 11th, 2009. Translated by Tsong Long and edited by Care. Who is our family? Jesus told us, "For whosoever does the pleasure of my Father in heaven, he is my brother and sister and mother." Matthew 12:50. Jesus Christ is the road, the truth, and the life. When we follow his teachings, we will be reborn in heaven, and we will know that whoever lives in the will of the greatest creator is our family. I am the embodiment of Jesus Christ in this era, an era for reaping the ripe crops. Let me tell you again, whoever meets the following standards are our family. A one who reveres the greatest creator and walks on his way. One who reveres life, reveres nature, loves life, and loves peace. One with whom we can share weal and woe, one who cares for us, never oppresses us, never exploits us, and never bullies us. One who speaks gently, never shouts at us, never complains, never laughs at us, never insults us, and never discourages us. One who can forgive our mistakes and makes us smile. One who never quarrels or fights with us, but always is willing to sacrifice his or her interests for us. One who brings happiness, joy, fun, and freedom. One who is close but never harms us. In short, whoever shares the same vibration is our family. Family is the one we can care for and love, and the one who is caring and loving. When we are with our family, we should have no troubles or worries, and never feel lonely or isolated. When we are with our family, there are no quarrels or fights and no anxieties or fears. Wherever we are, as long as we are with our family, our life is beautiful and happy, and our future is blessed. We should redefine the traditional family concept, which is merely based on the blood relationship, and build up a new family theory. Let us make everyone have more families in the journey of life and make their lives even more beautiful. 自私是通往天国的一道屏障. Selfishness is the stumbling block to heaven. Xiefeng. April 3rd, 2011. Translated by Tsong Long. You can feel the vastness of the universe when you have a selfless mind, and you have so much worry if you are selfish. The sage puts himself last and finds himself in the foremost place, and the laity put himself first and finds himself death. I often observe the people surrounding me. Many people often have emotions as worry, angry, feeling unsettled, anxious, discontent, jealous, hate, complain, depressed, pessimistic, and etc. They are very hard to please. The root cause of the above situations is selfishness. In heaven, nobody is selfish. That is why heaven is a place with peace, harmony, and happiness. I have established a transit station on our way to heaven, the second home, now new oasis for life, of Life Genuine. One of my objectives is to eliminate the selfishness in humans' nature. In the old lifestyle, it is very difficult to remove selfishness. For example, anyone who lives in marriage and family is selfish because they have to be selfish. While in the second home, I first request Chanyuan Celestials to break marriage and family and give up their personal property. Moreover, the management style of the second home is paradise management. There is no power, position, fame, or wealth to chase after. Nobody attaches to anyone, and there is no special relationship between two persons. Nobody has to worry the basic need like food, accommodation, clothes, and transportation. Nobody needs to worry how to deal with aging, illness, and death. Therefore, there is no fertile soil for the selfishness seed to grow, and the only thing people will do is focus on self-cultivation and spiritual growth, focus on playing games and entertainment, focus on exhibiting one's sincerity, kindness, and beauty, and focus on purifying their soul and repaying the debts and accumulating merits. In other words, in the traditional life mode, one is possible to transit to the lower level of life space, while in the new life mode, one is only possible walking towards heaven. So does that mean all people living in the second home are not selfish? No, they are also selfish. It still needs continuous cultivation on one's soul garden to change old thoughts and philosophies, and change the habit people formed in traditional lifestyle. If one celestial is too slow to follow new values, and is often selfish, there is an elimination mechanism in the second home. He will eventually be eliminated, either eliminated by himself or by the new life program. One who is selfless is not able to survive in traditional marriage and family, while one who is selfish is not able to survive in the second home. In fact, the teachings of Jesus, Sakyamuni, Lao Tzu, and all other sages in history are telling us to eradicate selfishness. However, if there is no corresponding program or environment, it is very difficult for people to become selfless. The second home is such a program where the teachings of saints and sages are completely implemented. Selfishness is the stumbling block to heaven. In fact, it is also the stumbling block to a beautiful life. A selfish man will never be able to enjoy a true, happy, and free life. Why you are angry? Because you are selfish. Why you want to commit bribery or accept bribe? Because you are selfish. Why you are so pessimistic and negative? Because you are selfish. Why you want to open a company to do business? Because you are selfish. Why you are so isolated and don't like collective life? Because you are selfish. Why you are jealous and discontented? Because you are selfish. Why you love money, position, or fame? Because you are selfish. Why you want to get married, possess someone, and be wealthy? Because you are selfish. Why you want to fight or rob something from other people? Because you are selfish. Why you always look upset and are hard to please? Because you are selfish. Why you feel your life is not satisfying, feel unsettled and painful? Because you are selfish. Why you want to take revenge? Why you are in worry and fear? Why you are not happy? Because you are selfish. Why you always complain and speak ill of someone behind his back? Why you always gossip? Because you are selfish. Isn't that so? If you want troubles and miseries, please be selfish. The more selfish you are, you will encounter more tragedies. If you want to go to hell, be selfish. Tao will meet your wish. If you want to have great life and want to go to heaven, please be selfless. If you are selfless, Tao will help you realize your dream of reaching paradise. 生命产业个性与共性的统一性. The unity between individuality and generality in life is genuine. Xiefeng. September 26, 2008. I will take the example of celestial beings' life in thousand-year world to talk about the unity between individuality and generality of the second home, now new oasis for life, in life is genuine. Without individuality, life would be pallid. If a garden is overgrown with only one kind of flowers, it will be boring and monotonous. If it is a riot of colors with countless flowers in full bloom, the garden will then be lively and splendid. Every Chanyuan celestial should have individuality, must have characteristics distinct from other Chanyuan celestials. And we should protect, support, accommodate such individualities. We should not expect others to be exactly like ourselves. We should not set down requirements for others or find fault with others on the basis of our own habits and values. We should not bind others up or make indiscreet criticisms of others with standards that we ourselves think are correct. Without generality, everything will be in a state of disunity like a sheet of loose sand, and chaos and confusion will reign supreme. It will be easy for us to get into conflict and friction, and energy will be exhausted by internal strife. Thus, it will be difficult for us to achieve joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing, and accordingly, it will be even more difficult for us to demonstrate our individuality. As a result, we will have more afflictions and run into one after another trouble. With the passage of time, we may slide into the secular world, the animal world, and until into hell. Generality should embody individuality, and individuality should embrace generality. Only with the perfect unity between generality and individuality can we guarantee a vigorous and dynamic life in which there is both uniform will and pleasant feelings of individuals. Generality should accommodate individuality. Generality that does not allow the existence of individuality is inhuman, cruel, despotic, and dictatorial. Life genuine should consistently be on guard against this trend. When individuality gets into conflict with generality, individuality should give way to generality. The individuality that does not conform to generality is a law unto itself, is immoral and radical, and will do harm to the collective. Such individuality is a morbidity that reflects a distorted soul and indicates the deformity of non-material structure. The reason that people in the thousand-year world live a more joyful and pleasant and freer and more blessed life than people in the human world is because of the perfect unity between individuality and generality. The fewer conflicts and contradictions there are between generality and individuality, the better the quality of life will be, the more interesting a life everyone will have, and the greater the freedom will be. The more conflicts and contradictions there are between generality and individuality, the lower the quality of life will be, the poorer the character of life will be, and the more afflictions and troubles everyone will have. The generality of human society is maintained mainly through constitutions, laws and statutes, army, and police. Without these compulsory measures, human society will be plunged into confusion and chaos and will be governed by law of the jungle existing in the animal world, by which the strong prey upon the weak. The generality of Life-genuine is maintained mainly through Life-genuine values. No constitution, laws and statutes, or army and police are needed. The generality is realized completely by the same frequency resonance of soul under Life-genuine values, and completely by everyone's free will and volition. No compulsory and mandatory measures shall be employed. Everyone who conducts self-refinement and self-cultivation in order to live in the better spaces of life must have a good understanding of the perfect unity between generality and individuality, and must maintain individuality and at the same time conform to generality. Anyone who places excessive emphasis on individuality can never reach the higher spaces of life. The more individuality a place emphasizes, the farther it is from the paradise and the closer it is to hell. In the same way, the more generality a place emphasizes and the more individuality it strangles, the farther it is from the paradise and the closer it is to hell. Everyone should understand that human society is a place that emphasizes individuality. You come from human society, so it is only natural that you want to fully exhibit and maintain your individuality. However, if you don't pay attention to generality and cannot fully display your individuality, you will be distressed, you will be furious, and you will be revengeful. You will mistreat others as well as yourself, and you will even kill yourself. Thus, as a member of human society, we are innately psychologically deformed and innately handicapped in the non-material structure of our life. Then what should we do? Collective life is the best venue to cultivate the way. We must cultivate and refine ourselves by blending ourselves into the collective life, and get rid of the individuality that does not conform to generality in the same way as we prune the superfluous branches from a tree. When you live alone, when you are single, when you live in the secular family, you may feel wonderful. You may feel you are perfect and flawless. However, once you live in the collective, you will have your defections and deficiencies exposed. You will feel completely incompatible with the collective life. You will find it difficult to get along with people harmoniously. You will cause distress to others, and you will feel that others do not love you and do not care for you. When such things happen, you should find problems in yourself instead of in the collective. For example, when everyone is having a good time but you choose to go to sleep and then complain that others have made noises and interrupted you, that's where you have gone wrong, because your individuality is not incorporated into the generality. On the other hand, you are equally wrong when everyone else is having a rest but you choose to have some fun and make a lot of noise. Maybe someone would ask, I do not want to be a part of the collective, and I do not cause distress and troubles to other people. I only concentrate myself on my own cultivation, and I only go to the place that I yearn for. Isn't that permissible? Yes, it's permissible. The space for life is infinitely expansive, and whatever consciousness you may, and you will go to the corresponding space for life. But you cannot go to the paradise, because in the paradise there is no place for a lonely ranger. Even if you can do whatever you want in Celestial Island Continent, you must still follow the generality of Celestial Island Continent. You must associate with the collective. You must live peacefully with any celestial being. You should not behave as in the human world, getting along well with only a few good friends you have chosen but ignore others. Even if you are a star, you must exist in a galaxy, and you must observe the generality of the galaxy, otherwise you will be doomed. The more one stresses individuality, the more distress and trouble they will have, the greater destruction they will bring to society and collective, the more lonely and solitary they will feel, the more easily their soul will be distorted, and the more abnormal mentality they will have. The less conflicts and contradiction a person suffers in individuality and generality, the more pleasant and happier they will be, the more serene a mind they will have, and the more likely they will achieve the spiritual state of a celestial being and Buddha. A person who suffers greater conflicts and contradiction between generality and individuality will become devils, monsters, and demons. The generality of the universe is Tao. The core of Tao is the greatest creator. Worshipping the greatest creator and following his way means the perfect and harmonious unity between your own individuality and the universe's generality. Only people who have harmoniously and perfectly united their individualities and the universe's generality are clear-headed people and can have a bright prospect. If you have deviated this general principle and direction, you will not have a beautiful prospect no matter how much effort you have made for your own cultivation. The generality of human society is fame and gain. Every pursuit of fame and gain, by whatever means, is compatible with the generality of human society. And any departure from this generality of human society will cause great difficulty, setbacks, and endless distresses and troubles for one's life. Therefore, as a man, one should pursue fame and gain. And in this way, one can combine his own individuality with the generality of human society, and thus will have a relatively smooth and free life. The generality of animal society is the strong preying upon the weak to satisfy desire. If a person lives only to satisfy his own desire and follows the law of the jungle, then he has organically unified his own individuality with the generality of human society. Outwardly, you are a man, but inwardly you only have the consciousness of an animal, and you will go to the animal world in future life. The generality of life genuine is the way of celestial being. Anyone who seeks joy, happiness, freedom, and blessing looks forward to thousand-year world, 10,000-year world, and celestial island continent of the Elysium world, and enthusiastically involves himself in pioneering the era of life genuine is a person who has perfectly and harmoniously united his own individuality with the generality of life genuine. Everyone has his individuality, and generality exists everywhere. Gangsters have gangsters' generality, criminal syndicates have their own generality, bees and ants have their own generality, and wolf packs and fox flocks have also their own generalities. Birds of a feather flock together. No matter in what community, only those that can perfectly and harmoniously unite their own individualities with the generality of their collective can reap the greatest benefit. Chanyuan Celestials and Life Genuine are going to the celestial beings' world. So Chanyuan Celestials should perfectly and harmoniously unite their individuality with the generality of Chanyuan values. In this way, they can accomplish the sublimation of their life within a short time and achieve the state of celestial being and move towards celestial island continent.
雪峰羡慕的8种人。
8 kinds of people that Xiefeng admires. Xuefeng. March 29, 2008. There are 8 kinds of people that I admire in the human world. People without debts. I admire you deeply if you don't owe anybody any money or property, or have not borrowed any money from the bank and yet can entertain yourself with good food every day, have a house to live in. At night you raise your head to appreciate the stars and moon. During the day you look casually at the clouds drifting, gathering and scattering in the sky, and go sightseeing or visit friends and relatives during spare time. You are leading a life of celestial beings. It does not matter if you do not have villa or expensive car, do not have deposits in the bank, cannot afford famous brand clothes and shoes, do not have great fame or position, cannot afford the meals in a hotel, and cannot prepare any decent dishes to entertain guests. I admire you as long as you are calm and serene in mind. Do you know that there are many people who are still worried about and on the run for their livelihood? People with good health. You are blessed, because a good and sound health is something that cannot be bought even with mountains of silver and gold. You have had all the treasures endowed to you by heaven. Just have a look at those handicapped and diseased people and have a look at yourself, and you will understand how blessed you are. And they will admire you most. People who are not married. You have the greatest freedom among people on the earth. You can look at anyone you want. You can get up anytime you like. You can give your money to anyone you would like to give. There is no one to supervise you, restrict you, and be on guard against you. What a good fate you were born with. Just take a look at those who have got married. Don't be fooled by their smiling faces, Inwardly, they are extremely distressed. Thus, I admire you greatly. People who do not admire others. You are extremely great and wise to admire nobody. Most of people's distresses are rooted in their inclination to make comparisons with others. If you don't admire others, then I should tell you, you are a man with the wisdom of celestial beings. It is the happiest thing to get on with you. You are being yourself, going your own way, blossoming your own flowers, bearing your own fruit, and living by modeling after nature. You understand the way of the greatest creator. Thus you are most admired. People with confidence. I admire you greatly. Your life is full of fun and interest. Yin and yang blend to make up Tao. So you fully understand the meaning of Tao. You do not intend to possess or control each other and are still attached to each other. You have your love all your life. You have great fun and happiness when being together, and you miss each other day and night when being apart. How well do you understand life and how admired you are? People who know how to be an ordinary person. How many people have idled away their beautiful time of life in seeking the extraordinary? In order to pursue the extraordinary, they are overburdened with debts. They go off into wild flights of fancy and go astray in search of shortcuts. They resort to trickery and hoodwinking. They go to the most extreme lengths and even end up in prison. However, you can retain a calm mind for being ordinary and settle down to an ordinary life. You enjoy simple food heartily as if you are enjoying delicacies. You work and rest as the sun rises and sets. You really know what to enjoy. You must have fully understood the philosophy of life, or you must have come from the heavenly kingdom. How admired you are. People who have same-sex bosom friends. In our life, it is especially difficult to find a bosom friend, a person whom you can turn to in the middle of night to share your feeling, or someone to whom you can place your trust and share your secrets, or someone who would jump in front of you to block the strike of a cobra, or someone who is still close to you with smiling face even if you have sworn at him or kicked him, or someone who can share weal and woe with you. Oh, how blessed you are and how I admire you. People capable of entertainment. People in the paradise all know how to play and entertain. People who do not know how to play and entertain are dull and boring, and thus have no chance to go to the heavenly kingdom. You are diamond among people if you are both knowledgeable and profoundly wise and humorous, and can always bring happiness and pleasure to others. To be with you is to be with happiness and joy. To live with you is like living in the heavenly kingdom. How can I help not admiring you? If you are the incarnation of all the above 8 qualities, you are undoubtedly an angel, and I will not only admire you but will also follow you closely.
直面真实
Face the reality. Xiefeng.
Septembre 2024-2010.
Translated by Tsong Long and edited by Care. Are you suffering? Do you have troubles, worries, and fears? Do you want to get away from your sufferings and go to a place which provides you with freedom and happiness? If the answer is yes, let me tell you a way which can end your sufferings and lead you to heaven. Face the reality. What is facing the reality? That is to be aware that we are imperfect. All our sufferings are due to imperfections in ourselves. The world is not wrong, but we are wrong. There is not a single soul in the universe that is treated unjustly. We need to be honest with ourselves and face our imperfections. If we are not happy, we must find the reason within, but not complain about other people and society. It is very easy to find excuses for ourselves and condemn others, but if you do so, your sufferings will never end. One who never admits his imperfections and always blame others when having troubles and pains will never get real happiness, joy, freedom, and blessings, and he will never reach heaven either. I have witnessed all misfortunes throughout the world and have carefully observed and thought about the sufferings of humanity. I have therefore concluded that the root causes of all tragedies are ourselves. What is even worse is that we are not willing to face the truth and admit that we have flaws. Instead, we complain and point our finger at others. This kind of life is too hypocritical, too unreal, too superficial, and too unfortunate. Avoid the reality and do not face yourself honestly, your sufferings will never end.
感谢你们上帝的子民。
Thank you, the children of the greatest Creator.